We talk to teams spending thousands to tens of thousands of dollars a month on paid leads, and it actually works. That's the problem, because even when it works, you're losing 30 to 40% of your top line revenue to a lead source that you'll never own. And at scale, that's $300,000, $600,000 to over $1 million a year in profit that you could have reinvested back into the business, and you still have to start every single month at zero. So I'm going to show you why the smartest agents are actually replacing that with a system that they actually own, and one that compounds every single month instead of resetting, and the one type of leverage that solves 5 problems in their business at the same time. Before we get into the full system, let me save you the biggest mistake that I made early on. When we first started making content in YouTube over 7 years ago, I thought the game was all about volume, more in, more out. And while it's true, that's not the full story. If just simply posting the most videos equaled getting the most leads, that math equation would be the easiest one in the world, and it would be binary. The hard truth is that the agents and the people generating the most business are the ones who build trust the fastest. Now, you might be confused because that can get very abstract and confusing, and I want to break down trust very simply into 3 things. Trust is the conclusion that someone reaches after collecting enough evidence of your competence and your intent over enough time. So if you ask yourself these 3 questions, do I believe you know what you're doing? That's competence. Do I believe you actually care about my outcome? That's intent. And have you shown me enough times that I believe it? That's time or consistency. And you can't fake things over a long enough period of time. And here's a little secret that no one talks about, is that content helps you speed up time. It shortens the sales cycle, increases conversion, allows you to be paid more, you can get a higher commission, and you have less competition. So you get more revenue from the leads that you're already generating. And the agents that are generating the most revenue from content aren't the ones with the most videos. They're the ones where when a client reaches out, that trust is already built before that first conversation happens. One of our agents that gets leads where the first thing people say is, I feel like I already know you. And that's not a lead. That's a relationship that started before you ever met. So before we talk about the system, that's the lens, not how do I get more leads? It's how do I build trust at scale over time so that leads come to me already pre-sold. So if you ask yourself, does my content show my competence, my intent, and my consistency? What would your answer be? Now, with that lens, we have to talk about why the old playbook is breaking and what you can do about it. See, paid leads are a growth strategy, but they're on rented attention. And if your revenue depends on how much you spend on Zillow, Realtor.com, Google, or Facebook ads every single month, you don't own any of that. And the second you stop paying, that visibility is completely gone. So think about it. What happens when you cancel Zillow? Your phone stops ringing? Not in 6 months, tomorrow. That's not a great business to own long-term. That's a subscription to someone else's audience. We had an agent, Matt in Charleston, who built an amazing team in brokerage. He was successful. He was spending a lot on Zillow every single month, and Zillow keeps moving to flex in most of its markets. Same leads, same quality, but higher costs. And he's sitting there going, I'm going to be paying more for the same exact thing that I got last year, and I have zero equity from any of it. And that's the moment we started talking, not because Zillow stopped working, but because he realized he was building on someone else's land. And there's 3 shifts happening right now that are making this even more worse. First, consumer behavior has changed forever. Buyers and sellers are researching for like 6 months to 3 years before they ever call an agent or purchase a product or use a service. And they're watching YouTube, they're reading newsletters, they're deciding who they trust way before they ever decide to pick up the phone or make a purchase. So by the time someone reaches out from content, they've already decided who their agent's gonna be. In a Zillow lead, they haven't decided anything. They're just window shopping. And we see this constantly. Sally, who in Florida gets calls from luxury buyers and sellers where the first thing they say is, I already know I wanna work with you. These are people who have been watching your videos for months. And if you compare that to Zillow, who's talking to 3 to 5 other agents at the same exact time for the same exact buyer, completely different starting point. And the difference is she already has trust with the consumer before they ever spoke. And the second big shift is that trust is the only real differentiator left in the world of AI. See, AI can write neighborhood blogs, AI can generate market reports, it can answer basically every single factual question that a buyer or a consumer has. But what it can't do is it can't be the person that the homeowner trusts with the biggest financial decision of their life. That's earned. You can't buy that. See, we've written literally over 2,500 scripts for agents just last year alone, and we know what AI can produce. And the content that actually generates business is actually never the most polished or the most information dense. It's the content where the agent gives their real opinion, their real experience, and real knowledge of the market that comes from them. AI can give you the data and it can give you some of the information, but it can't give you the judgment or the opinion. And that judgment is what people are actually hiring you for. And then third, the big shift is that the math is always moving against you in business. See, Zillow costs more every single year. It doesn't get cheaper. The cost of filming a video or sending an email hasn't really changed a whole lot. One resets every single month, the other compounds monthly. And every month you're paying for Zillow instead of building your own business or your own channel, you're falling further behind the agent who started last month or 6 months ago. And this is what it can look like in practice. See, Chris in Virginia started his channel while two of his biggest competitors were already on YouTube, and those competitors already had a head start, but they were also spending on paid leads and treating YouTube as a side project. Chris actually went all in and he decided to own content. And within a year, he overtook both of them. And now all of his competitors' videos only get a few hundred views while he dominates the entire feed in his area. And that gap keeps getting wider every single month because his library is compounding while their ad spend is resetting every month. So ask yourself, what percentage of your business right now comes from something that you own versus something that you rent? And if that number makes you uncomfortable, keep watching because the rest of this video is going to talk about the one type of leverage that fixes all of it. And we'll go into the shifts that you need to make. So if paid leads aren't the answer, what is? To understand that, we kind of have to zoom out from real estate for a second, because there's a concept from one of my favorite philosophers in business, Naval Ravikant, that changed how I think about this. And he says that there's only 4 types of leverage in business. And there's 4 ways to multiply your output beyond your own time. You've got labor, which is people working for you. And this was really popular back in the 1920s where there's the Industrial Revolution. Next form of leverage is capital, which is money working for you, which was popularized in the oil era with the Rockefellers, JP Morgan, Carnegie, the Vanderbilts. And then third is code, which is technology working for you. That we saw during the tech boom, the internet, social era, and those are all very real, but they each solve one problem. You hire an agent, you get 1 more agent's production. You spend money on Zillow, you get 1 month of Zillow leads. You build automation, you get 1 system we're running. The 4th type of leverage is content or media or brand. It came during the social and internet era. But in the world of AI and attention, distribution might change, but trust will become the #1 filter. This is the one that changes everything for agents and business owners because content is the only type of leverage that doesn't just do one thing. Think about what like a single YouTube video does. It ranks for why these Delaware homes aren't selling, and now it's generating leads while the agents add another listing appointment, and an agent watches that person's channel before they end up interviewing to be on that team, and it's helping also attract talent. A journalist finds that video researching for a local story, and now you're getting local press. A mortgage broker or developer sees it and they reach out because they want to speak with you and they want to do a project with you, and then a past client forwards that or your newsletter to a friend thinking about selling. And that's where things get absolutely crazy because one asset works across client acquisition, talent acquisition, PR, partnerships, referrals, and way more all at the same time. And there's no other type of leverage that does that. And I just want to be completely honest that I didn't understand this when we first started. I just thought we were building like a YouTube or email company. We were helping agents get views and get leads, and that was the product. But then when we started seeing something completely different that we didn't expect. Agents were telling us that their channels were also attracting agents, that developers were reaching out because they wanted to do partnerships. Local businesses, reporters were calling them instead of the other way around. And the agents weren't just building lead generation platforms. We were helping them build an entire platform where their business could sit on top of. And Chris in Virginia was one of the clearest examples of this. When he started, he had 2 big competitors who already already had big channels. They were already getting traffic. And within a year, he overtook them. He dominated the feed. And he actually told us, you can't hide from me on YouTube anymore. And it's not just leads. He has agents that are coming onto the team. He's gotten a bunch of developers and local businesses and press that reach out to him as well. And in one channel, one video was doing the work of 5+ strategies. So of the 4 types of leverage, when you think about it, which one are you over investing in right now? And which one are you under investing in? Now that you understand leverage, you need to understand how the system actually work, because leverage without the structure is just a nice idea. So the structure and the whole point of building what I call owned attention is to make your lead flow consistent, predictable, and scalable so that the business's income isn't at the mercy of what you spend every single month. And there are 4 parts to it. And I'm going to walk you through each one using real examples from agents that we work with so that you can see what this actually looks like, not just what it sounds like in theory. So part 1, you need to be findable where your ideal clients are already looking. And for most agents, surprisingly, what many don't expect is that's YouTube. Not because it's trendy, but because it's the second largest search and discovery platform in the world. And real estate is one of the most searched categories on it because people always will forever want to know, where should I live? What's it like living there? What's new coming to the area? What's the market like? And those are questions that your clients are literally asking themselves every single week. And those videos work for you at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday or on the weekend while you're not working and you're out with the family and the kids, because content compounds. But here's what most people get wrong with this. They think discoverability means making a ton of content, and it doesn't. It means making the right content. See, we had an agent, Matt, in Delaware, who posts 1 video a week, not daily, not twice a week, not 2 times a month, once a week. And he focuses on new construction, waterfront, coming soon developments in a specific area. And his videos generate 10, 20, 30 leads a month. People who close within 3 to 12 months with a 10 to 30% conversion ratio. And that is unheard of when it comes to online leads. This is thousands of dollars of income and thousands of hours of watch time for making a single 10 to 30-minute video. And if we compare that to another agent that we talked to, they were posting actually 2 to 3 times a week, and there was random topics. Many of their videos were typical buying, selling, investing real estate videos. There's no thread connecting any of it, especially locally, and building trust. And the leads were literally almost 0 because the discoverability isn't about how much you post. It's about whether or not the right person finds you when they're looking. So if you want to test this, you can actually go on YouTube. You can search in your market the best neighborhoods in X city or moving to Y city and ask yourself, are you there? Is your competitor there? And AI actually sources YouTube because it has 10 times more data in the videos than written content. Now, getting found in discoverability is step 1, but people often forget things, especially in this fast-paced world. So you need something that takes someone from, I just watched this person's video, to now I'm actually in this person's world. And that is the bridge. And having a bridge or a bridge asset is a resource that solves a real problem for your client, whether it's a neighborhood guide, market report, or one of our favorite is a local newsletter, something useful enough that they'll trade their email for it. And I actually made the mistake early on that thinking if you just create enough content, you're online, you're on YouTube, you're on Instagram, that people will eventually reach out. But what I learned is you also have to give ways for people to take the next step and to capture their leads, because at the end of the day, people will watch the content and they may never come back. So the second that you build some type of bridge, whether it's a downloadable guide, PDF, or joining a newsletter, that's when you can have a direct link to the person to talk to them every single week. And so one thing as an example that you see very often and very common is a relocation guide. But what we learned by building a new construction channel in Florida is that every video can potentially become a downloadable PDF or like a comparison sheet or like some type of table or some resource that someone wants to give their email for. And while YouTube or podcasts are one of 3 in the stack of new media, email is still number 1. And that's why people like Tom Ferry and many others actually say having an email list is one of the most valuable. And that's how you turn a viewer into someone you can actually talk to the next week without paying for the right to talk to them. So once you figure out a way to make some type of PDF or lead magnet, something someone can download, the next big question is your email list. Your email list is one of the most valuable marketing assets in your business, and most agents don't even have an email marketing strategy. And this is where you build what I think of as like a micro universe. You're kind of the go-to local name in your area because you're not competing with thousands of other people and other creators on the same platform. You're actually in their inbox and they chose to be there. They actually want to hear from you. Brandon, who's over in Chicago, has about 3,000 people on his database and he has a 40 to 50% open rate. And that's consistent. There's no algorithm, there's no ad spend, and he doesn't have to wonder where his next client is coming from. He doesn't have to run ads to stay top of mind. He has a direct relationship with those 1,000 people. And that's not a marketing channel, that's an unfair advantage. And the simple way to start is you have one email a week, a local newsletter, which has like the top things to do, new developments, market info, local recommendations. You can put your listings in there. You want to keep it short and keep it useful and also keep it human. And this newsletter isn't about real estate. It's not about you. It's a newsletter about your area for the people who live there or want to live there. So if every platform shut down tomorrow, do you have a list of people you could still be in contact with? And that's one of the most important things to consider. And the next is, this is what makes this whole thing work long-term. So when you put all the pieces together, it's one of the most underrated parts of content that almost no one talks about. Every video you publish online is a permanent asset. Every email deepens the relationship and every client result adds to your proof. And over time, that creates a moat. And you can't purchase 2 years of weekly YouTube videos. You have to earn that. So after about 12 to 18 months of consistent content, agents can almost become uncatchable in their market, as an example. And that's just what happens when you compound trust while everyone else is buying and renting it. There's a concept in marketing called first and last touch attribution. The first is, how do you initially find me? And what made you finally reach out is the last one. But even Google says, from trillions of dollars in data from the marketing advertising, that it actually follows a 7-11-4 pattern, meaning 7 hours of interaction, 11 touch points, and 4 separate channels to build enough trust for a consumer to make a purchase. So if you think about what that actually means, that means there's a lot of stuff in the middle. And what that means for an agent, if someone watches a 30-minute video of you every week for 3 months, they've already hit 6 of those 7 hours. And then you add in your newsletter, your social clips, maybe a lead magnet that they download, and they've crossed every threshold before they've ever called you. And that's why YouTube leads have a 10 to 30%, because they're not cold, they're pre-sold. This is why many business owners are moving towards YouTube and email, because you can shorten the entire sales process and you can allow for trust to be built before they ever work with you. So you have to ask yourself, what would your business look like in 12, 18, 24 months if every piece of content that you made this year was still working for you? But knowing that system and actually building it are two completely different things. So let me show you how you can start, even if you're starting from zero. So you might already be feeling this. You're spending more on leads than you were 2 to 3 years ago. The quality is worse, the conversion is lower, and something needs to change, but you just don't know how to replace it. Step one, you get specific about who you serve and where. Not, I work in the entire Tampa metro market. Like, what specific neighborhoods? Is it South Tampa? Is it St. Pete? What price points? What type of buyers, sellers? The more narrow you go, the easier it is for the content to convert. And the agent who owns new construction, waterfront in coastal Delaware, like Matt in Delaware, will always outperform the agent who's trying to serve the entire state of Delaware every single time. That's also why the other Matt chose downtown Charleston in the beaches, and Brandon chose West Chicago suburbs, etc. Because that focus is what helps the content work and helps bring in the right clients. Now, step two, for most agents, you have to figure, what is my discoverability platform and where do I start? A lot of people start on Instagram because it's easy, it costs less, and that's fine. You can do short form. For agents who want to get a little more time back, want to scale, have a little more leverage, that's YouTube, because one video a week can last an entire year. And you can answer clients' questions, and you can talk about the latest local news and developments, market updates, new construction. You can do tour videos, like where to live. And the goal here is to be useful, but also consistent. See, we have clients who are filming on an iPhone or a DJI Osmo Pocket. You can obviously use a camera if you want. We have some do that and some who are a videographer. What matters is you're building a library that works for you over time, and it compounds every single week and every single month because you're being consistent posting videos. Step three is you create one lead magnet, and that's a PDF. It's like a relocation guide. It's a market report. It's a newsletter. It's a new construction comparison sheet, something that people will actually find useful while watching your videos and want to put their email in and download. So you can talk about the top neighborhoods in comparison of those or the school district, and the lead magnets help you convert an extra 1 to 10% of your audience. And you can mention it in every single video. And then from there, step 4 is when someone downloads that guide or gives you their email, they're now on your list. And now what you do is you send them one local email newsletter a week with the top things to do, new developments, market information, local recommendations. And the goal isn't to have the newsletter be about real estate. It's to help someone in your local area who already lives there. Step 5, build a system that removes you out of the equation. The agent who posts every week for 2 years didn't have more discipline than you. They just had a process that didn't depend on how they felt on a Tuesday or Thursday morning, because consistency isn't a character trait. It's something that you can design. You can design your week and your month around. And what's kind of funny is that boring is what compounds. Everyone wants to do something new and try something shiny, but it's the boring that ends up becoming the thing that you can stay consistent with and that can scale and compound over time. And I actually had to learn this the hard way early on with clients who tried to do everything themselves, come up with ideas, write the script, film the video, figure out the edit, upload, etc. And they'd go hard at it for 3 to 6 months, and then they'd fall off and fail every single time. See, the agents who have been posting consistently every single week for not just 1 year, but 2 to 3 aren't the ones who are the most motivated, but they're the ones who have a boring system that they don't have to rethink every single week. They have the same filming day, they batch film, they understand their content buckets, they understand their production process. There's honestly sometimes nothing exciting about it. And that's the point. Every time you have to reinvent something of how you do something, that's how you break the system of compounding. So the agents and business owners who are running the same play or similar plays every single month, getting 1% better, and at the simplest form, even if it's just you, what you want to do is you separate ideation from filming. You never decide what to film the day of filming, and ideally not even the day before. Then you batch record filming in 1 to 2 days, have a repeatable process that you can run without having to make new decisions every single week. And that will allow you to double as long as you stick to it for a long enough time. There is a certain point that the system needs more than just you, because with YouTube, there's ideation, there's scripting, there's filming, there's editing, there's design, and then you have email and there's other forms of distribution, and that requires a team. And the agents who scaled the fastest and the furthest are the ones who figured out that early on. Instead of trying to do it all themselves for 2 to 3 years, they start to say, who can I bring onto the team and get leverage? How can I scale what I'm doing? So you have to ask yourself, do you have a system that keeps your content going even on weeks that you don't feel like doing it? Or is everything going to stop when you stop? AI has made content easier to produce. Portals have made and commoditized leads, made it easier, but local expertise, real trust in an audience that you own and that knows your name, that's what wins. That's what's going to compound. The agents that are going to pull ahead from everyone else aren't going to be the ones who just spend more on advertising. They're the ones who build something like a local media brand or a local media company and build a system where they can stop renting leads. They can start owning something that generates business for them. If you're the kind of agent who thinks about your business in years and not just months, and you want us to build this for you to help you shorten your sales cycle, get more clients converting from the leads that you're already generating, then click the link in the description below. You can schedule a call to see if we're a good fit to work together or not. So the only question you have to ask yourself is, are you going to continue renting your business every single month, or are you going to start building an asset that you own? Because you can take this system, implement it into your business yourself, or you can hire people onto the team or hire someone like us to help. But either way, you should figure out how to build an asset. And if you want to see the full system of how we come up with proven ideas every single month, so you never have to wonder what to post, then you need to watch this video next, because I go through the entire system of how some of the biggest teams like Red Bull, Mr. Beast, etc., spend $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 a month on strategists who come up with the best ideas. And I give you that system for free in this video.